New Caitlyn Clark interview going viral. We have to get into some of these clips, but it really got me thinking, man, with the Nike drop yesterday and everything that's going on. What took so long? The WNBA, Nike, they really dropped the ball in terms of capitalizing on Caitlyn Clark's stardom. Caitlyn Clark should have had shoes out her rookie year. Caitlyn Clark should have been being supported by the WNBA rather than being sabotaged and targeted by the very league she is making.
First, there was a pause so heavy it felt intentional. Then came Caitlyn Clark's comments, measured, optimistic, and forward-looking, yet they landed like a thunderclap inside a league already strained by public scrutiny. What was meant to spotlight growth and possibility instead ignited a fierce backlash, not because of any misstep in her words, but because they unintentionally highlighted long-standing failures within WNBA leadership. Almost immediately, fans, analysts, and media voices pushed back, pointing to the widening gap between Clark's vision for the sport and the operational reality surrounding it. That contrast became impossible to ignore. This moment went far beyond a routine media appearance. It exposed systemic cracks, raised serious questions about accountability, and intensified calls for structural reform rather than surface-level apologies. At the center of it all stands the league's most visible star, navigating an environment that appears ill-prepared to support her impact, leaving behind a quiet but powerful appeal for competence, clarity, and change.
Have been being supported by the WNBA rather than being sabotaged and targeted by the very league she is making popular single-handedly. Not to say there's not good players, but it was never popping the way she got it popping. Imagine if the league would have just gotten behind her from day one instead of fighting it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, and hype the video. Before we get into the China, the new viral interview and all of that, I got some clips.
The first jolt didn't come from Clark at all. It came from a commentator who openly unloaded on the WNBA and Nike, accusing both of a stunning failure in leadership and vision. This wasn't framed as a simple missed opportunity, but as a deep-rooted breakdown in strategy that squandered momentum surrounding the most marketable figure women's basketball has ever seen. Critics argued that the league failed to harness a once-in-a-generation moment, leaving countless potential fans confused about why growth seemed to be resisted rather than embraced. What inflamed the response even further was the perception that the league had undercut, rather than elevated, the very athlete driving unprecedented attention. Had there been unified support from the start, many believe the sport's reach could look dramatically different today. That early frustration became the spark for wider outrage, laying the groundwork for Clark's later remarks to resonate far beyond their intent and expose a much deeper institutional problem within the game.
And it's like, we get exciting things like the Caitlyn Clark shoe announcement and all of that stuff, but we can't even confirm that we're having a season yet. We can't even, it's ridiculous. Unrivaled is going to be kicking off in about 10 days. I mean, you have co-founders who are a part of the WNBPA panel and all of this saying they're only worried about Unrivaled. How you're supposed to be worried about getting the CBA done. It's just so much going on, man. And I just really wish Caitlyn Clark came into a league that was being run professionally, because Kathy Engelbert...
The center of the backlash is one dominant belief: Caitlyn Clark should have launched a signature shoe during her rookie season. To many observers, that absence became a symbol of the league's inability to recognize and fully activate its most powerful asset at the exact moment it mattered most. Given Clark's historic visibility and commercial pull, the delay felt less like caution and more like a disconnect from basic marketing reality. Fans saw a league hungry for relevance somehow sidelining a golden opportunity handed to it in real time. The frustration grew as this oversight was viewed not as accidental, but as evidence of leadership failing to understand modern fan engagement. What should have been a springboard for explosive growth instead became a case study in lost momentum, prompting serious questions about whether internal hesitation stalled what could have been a defining era for the WNBA's brightest new star.
It's just so much going on, man. And I just really wish Caitlyn Clark came into a league that was being run professionally, because Kathy Engelbert, your ass not off the hook. You neglected everything we were saying about the referees. It was straight up prison ball. And you've done a horrible job, but the way the players PA has carried out this thing, it's just been a complete clown show. And man, I just wish Caitlyn Clark walked into a professional league like Wemby walked into a professional league with the NBA. Like, I just wish she had the professionalism around her that other stars in other leagues are.
The criticism didn't stop with merchandise. Commentators quickly widened the lens, zeroing in on the league's collective bargaining negotiations, which they described as chaotic and directionless. The drawn-out process, stretching well beyond reasonable timelines, created mounting frustration for both players and fans, especially with major moments, like anything tied to Caitlyn Clark's rise, left in limbo. Even basic assurances, such as a confirmed season schedule, remained unresolved far longer than expected. That lack of clarity sent a troubling signal about organizational stability and leadership readiness. What emerged was a picture of institutional paralysis, where internal deadlock overshadowed on-court momentum. Against that backdrop, Clark's upbeat messaging began to sound less like optimism and more like an attempt to reassure an audience watching the league struggle to keep its footing.
Who came to a game when I was in college. He came to senior night. I love it. He brought some crazy energy on senior night, or the Kelsey brothers who supported me, honestly, in college and even now professionally. So just a lot of different people that have really tuned in and really supported women's basketball, and then obviously specifically in my career. So it's really fun to have them a part of this.
Got you. I already did a research on it, so I'm gonna do the breakdown and introduction for all of them.
All right, I love it.
没错，所以我做了刚刚的这个广告解析。
As more and more people watch your commercial, your campaign, what do you hope they can take away from your campaign?
Adding momentum to the controversy, league leadership itself became a focal point, particularly WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, who commentators argued could not escape responsibility for the league's mounting problems. Critics pointed to repeated concerns about inconsistent officiating and a style of play that, in their view, had drifted too far from acceptable professional standards. The argument wasn't about toughness or competitiveness, but about the absence of firm oversight to protect athletes and preserve the integrity of the game. This level of criticism suggested a troubling disconnect between leadership and the realities players face on the court. Instead of addressing long-standing warnings, the league appeared slow to respond, amplifying perceptions of neglect. The result, according to critics, is an environment where the systems meant to safeguard and elevate players are failing, forcing even the sport's most influential star to succeed despite, rather than because of, the structure surrounding her.
Inspiring the younger generation. It doesn't even have to be for them to play basketball, but for them just to achieve and believe whatever they want to and become whatever they want to, I think is a really powerful thing.
Future. I think you inspired a lot of girls in China. More and more attentions for women's basketball in China right now. A lot of young girls, they attribute their interest to basketball. Of basketball to you.
Cool.
So how you feel about that?
And obviously, China's not a place I've ever been to, but I know I'll be there very soon. And I think that
contrast couldn't have been more revealing. As Clark lined up new endorsement opportunities and continued to draw international attention to the sport, reports suggested that key individuals involved in critical CBA discussions were focused elsewhere, namely on outside ventures like Unrivaled. To many observers, that detail landed like a red flag, raising concerns about divided priorities and potential conflicts of interest at the very moment the league needed full attention. The perception that decision-makers responsible for shaping the WNBA's future were distracted only reinforced claims of organizational drift. Public frustration deepened as fans questioned how meaningful progress could happen under those conditions. Against that backdrop, Clark's genuine push to elevate the game felt less like shared momentum and more like a solitary effort, quietly underscoring the professional instability she was being asked to navigate.
经过一番尝试之后，我们在黑暗中重新开始了这个问题。
In China, like people started to notice you when you were in Iowa or either in Indiana Fevers. But when people started to notice you, you already a dominant player, a winner already. But let's go back to the beginning of your basketball journey. Is there any moment you feel like basketball is a little bit challenging for you, or you're born to be a winner, you never feel like that?
That's a great question. Honestly, I feel like there's obviously a lot of challenging moments throughout my career. I feel like I probably always had a lot of...
Against a backdrop of league-wide instability, Caitlyn Clark's long-awaited interview landed with far more force than anyone anticipated. While discussing her latest commercial, she focused on the importance of surrounding herself with people who had supported her long before the spotlight arrived, naming figures who believed in her early and stayed consistent throughout her rise. What was intended as a heartfelt reflection on loyalty and gratitude quickly took on a broader meaning. Her comments unintentionally highlighted the sharp divide between a dependable personal support system and a league structure many fans now view as unreliable or disengaged. The contrast was striking and impossible to overlook. Clark's appreciation felt sincere and grounded, yet it also reinforced a growing public perception that her success has come in spite of institutional shortcomings rather than because of them. In that context, her words sounded less like simple acknowledgments and more like a quiet reminder of what meaningful support is supposed to look like, something many believe the league has yet to fully provide.
Yeah, I think just like more and more opportunities, and I think that's exactly what's happening because there's going to be more and more young girls that love basketball or love another sport and believe that they can be really good at it. And I think it kind of starts with the stage that I'm playing on right now. The more we can be on TV and the more people can come and watch us and buy a ticket, or we can go to places like China or wherever it's at globally to help grow the game and allow people to see us play basketball, I think is a really important and powerful thing when you really get to see people you idolize up close. Those were some of the most impactful moments of my childhood, so I know how impactful that can be for young girls today too.
Clark's message centered on confidence and possibility, delivered with a calm assurance that felt genuine and deeply personal. She spoke about believing you can accomplish almost anything if you trust yourself and put in the work, a mindset she traced back to countless hours spent practicing in her driveway as a kid. That foundation, built with constant encouragement from her family, was framed as the engine behind her rise to the biggest stage in the sport. On its own, the story was uplifting and aimed squarely at young athletes searching for belief. But set against the backdrop of league-wide criticism, her words took on a different resonance. They underscored just how much individual determination it has taken to thrive in an environment critics say has offered limited institutional support, making her success feel less like a shared victory and more like a personal triumph achieved against the odds. As the interview moved forward, Clark addressed her growing international influence, including her impact in China. She acknowledged she hadn't yet visited but expressed genuine excitement about going soon, emphasizing how powerful it is to connect with people from different cultures who all share a love for basketball. Her remarks highlighted the sport's ability to inspire young boys and girls far beyond USA borders. That global enthusiasm, however, stood in sharp contrast to the domestic criticism facing the WNBA. While Clark spoke confidently about expanding the game worldwide, many fans couldn't help but compare that ambition with the league's struggles to foster consistent growth and professionalism at home. Her global outlook subtly exposed how much opportunity may have been left untapped domestically. Clark then reflected on her relentless drive to improve, explaining that she was always motivated by the desire to be better than she was the day before. She described hours spent watching the game,